Today we're going to be learning about how to correctly read the horse's stall card on the outside of each horse's stall and some of the important information that's on the stall card. Each horse has a stall card that's located directly on the front of the stall, usually next to where the halter is hanging. The stall card has some really important information on it that you need to be aware of before you make that initial contact with your horse. Whether you're taking a horse out to turnout, to the walker, to a riding skills class, or team practice, you need to know about some of the important notes on the horse's stall card before you handle them. At the very top of the stall card, you're going to see the horse's name. That's usually their nickname or their barn name. So you will see the horse's name written that way with that exact spelling everywhere that the horse's name is written. This is Hector, so his name is at the top of the stall card, and anywhere that you would see his name written, it's going to be written just like this as Hector. Underneath of the horse's barn name is usually their registered name or sometimes their show name. So that name might be similar to their barn name. Sometimes the barn name comes from the registered name or the show name, but not all the time. His registered name is Con Corazon. It'll tell you how old the horse is. This says 2012, so Hector is 12 years old. Then it'll tell you his color. He is a bay. Then it'll tell you his breed, which is Hanoverian. And then it'll tell you whether he is a gelding or a mare. This one says geldings. Gelding, we do not have any stallions here at the Equestrian Center. Then below that, it'll say donated by or leased from. The horses that are donated to our program are horses that we own that stay here year-round. Horses that are leased to our program are only with us typically for the academic year from August to May. So those horses are not owned by us. We just lease them to the program during the academic year. Then below that, there's going to be some information about the horse's grain, supplements, and hay. This is only important if you work on staff or if you're in practicum working a practicum extra shift. This information is otherwise not important for handling for any other reason. Below that, there's going to be information about the horse's turnout. It'll usually say group, single, or turnout only with a certain horse or certain horses. Hector says group, which means that he's turned out usually with a few different horses, not necessarily specific ones. He's good with other horses, so he can be turned out in a group. So we just write that on there so that everyone knows that that's his general turnout routine. Then below is probably the most important part of the stall card. There's going to be two pictures of your horse. So it's going to be a headshot, and then it's also going to be a full body picture, which is going to give you a view from the side. This is really important because we want to make sure that the horse we're taking out of the stall is actually the horse that's in the stall and the horse that's supposed to be in the stall. So we don't necessarily need to know anything about Hector, but this picture is going to give us a little bit of an idea of what he looks like or what he's supposed to look like. Even if the picture isn't great quality, you can still see that the horse in the picture looks identical or very similarly to Hector. If you were to approach this stall and there was a horse in there that was gray or maybe chestnut, you would know by looking at the picture that that was not Hector. Then the next most important thing are these special instructions. So in the special instructions, you're going to see a variety of information pertaining to the horse's handling protocols, behavior, maybe some health conditions that you need to be aware of. So it's important that you read those special instructions before you take the horse out of the stall so that you know exactly what you can and cannot do with that particular horse, and if there's any other important information you need to know. Sometimes it'll say that that horse needs to be led with a chain lead rope instead of a regular lead rope. If the horse is led with a regular lead rope, it's not going to say anything there. Sometimes it might say that a horse has a specific medical condition that you don't necessarily need to know about for the purpose of handling or riding that horse, but it's just good information to have and good for my staff to know about. You can see here that Hector doesn't have any special instructions, which is great. Usually no news is good news. And the last most important thing on the stall card that you're going to see is this little circle at the top on the right hand side. that is the color that the horse is assigned to for handling. Our color coding system breaks up the horse's levels for handling into green, yellow, and red. Hector is categorized as green. So even though he doesn't have any special instructions, seeing that he has a green circle on his stall card would lead you to assume that he's very safe, very easy to handle, is very predictable. The horses that are green have the highest level of predictability when it comes to handling them. So we know exactly what to expect, even with a very beginner level handler. That's pretty much all of the most important information on the stall card. But if you have any other questions or concerns about the horse that's in the stall that you're about to take out and handle, then you should always ask me or ask my staff or your riding instructor.